Hi guys, so this is another pick a card reading, and it's every single pick a card reading I will ever do is always designed to help you leverage your life psychic style, because essentially this is what I do in my own life, and I know it can be super powerful, and I know that we are all psychic, so always make sure that you're using your own intuition as well when I'm doing these readings. And if you are getting something very different than what I'm saying, always trust what you are getting, because I'm really holding that intention. So yeah, cool, let's go with it. So this question that we're going to ask is what the Akashic Records most want you to know right now regarding your birth chart. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm not going to say, oh, this is happening on your birth chart, that is happening on your birth chart. I'm just going to give you the context of the Akashic Records perspective on what's currently you most need to know that's influencing you with the astrology, with everything, and it's also timeless. But remember, the Akashic Records are super abstract and they work in a different type of way, so don't go and look at this and maybe instantly check your birth chart. It might correlate and it might not, but that's not really the purpose. I'm not trying to psychically tell you what your birth chart is. I'm just going to get the Akashic Records to tell me to tell you what you most need to understand relative to what's currently going on in your life, and basically how to leverage it the best that you can. So that is the intention. Just before I go on, I'm going to be using these amazing oracle cards. It is here the Sacred Moon Goddess Oracle. A friend of mine has literally created these, and they are so beautiful. So I'm going to be using these as the oracles. So if you really like them, then definitely go and check her out. I think I got mine from Etsy from her, and also this is her Instagram, because I did actually message her on Instagram so she could send them to me. So this is her account, just so you can see there. But they are so beautiful. Let me just give you an example. Ah, I love this. Faith. They really are so cool and beautiful. Anyway, cool, let's go straight on to the readings. We have got 4 piles. So as always, you feel into and use your own intuition, which is most relevant to you. So is your message in pile number 1? Is your message in pile number 2? Is your message in pile number 3? Is your message in pile number 4? Cool, so now let's go straight on to message number 1. Hey guys, so this is everybody that chose message number 1 for what the Akashic Records most wants you to know right now to do with your birth chart. So actually I'm going to always, I think with the Akashic it's always nice to channel a little tiny bit. So okay, so instantly I'm hearing it's about the energy of Venus and the sex asteroids. So there's a whole load of asteroids that relate into different sex anatomy, but also different ways of expressing your sexual energy. And I'm hearing that that is really important. But instantly as well, I'm getting that don't just assume that this is love and sex and stuff like that, because it's not. I'm hearing it's more about how you use your own creative power, but in a way to create more beauty and pleasure in your life. I'm hearing that this is really important. Now let's just see if we can get like a little bit of a story kind of abstract picture. Okay, so I'm getting a bit of a mythological type of thing, and I'm seeing a whole load of like mermaids and mermen under the water, and it seems like it's very much like a celebration, a bit like you know, in The Little Mermaid, Ariel. I think it's quite early on when Ariel's dad is maybe throwing a party or something, and I think it's for Ariel's birthday. I'm not sure, but this is kind of what I'm getting. I'm getting that kind of vibe, and again that's playing into that whole thing about like pleasure, enjoyment, and also the way the mermaids and the mermen are with their bodies, the way they're swimming in the water. It just feels like they're really in touch with all of their body, like they know how to move it, they know how to relate to it, they know how to move their body within their surroundings to get maximum pleasure from their environment. I'm getting this kind of vibe. And I'm also seeing another little image of a little girl picking up daisies. and she's picking up daisies and she's making daisy chains, and then she's trying to sell them on a little store market, but she's only super young, so it's kind of got this entrepreneurial kind of free-spirited kind of thinking out of the box type of energy as well, but not as radical as Uranus and Aquarius. It's a lot more softer, it's a lot more playful. If anything, it's a bit more like a Leo type of energy, so more kind of like creative, and we're thinking 5th house, so kind of creativity, children, inner child. It's got all of that kind of energy is what I'm feeling. So now let's just go straight into the cards. And we'll start with the tarot. So, why does this part... And I'm going to turn them on as we go. Oh, wow, the Emperor. Okay. And 9 of Pentacles. Okay, so this is very, very earthy as well. And, oh, wow, Resurrection. I love this deck. I think it's so, so cool. Okay. So I think the thing is, it's all about the Akashic Records wants you to know that you just have to take more responsibility and more accountability for having more pleasure and enjoyment within your life, and that it's up to you to create a life that you're going to love, that you're going to enjoy. And I'm actually hearing for all of you that actually, you know, it's I think so many of you work so hard. Either you work so hard on your own self-growth, or you work so hard at work, earning money. There's a very kind of like a mechanical, like, just keep going. If I just do this bit more, then I'll be there. If I do this bit more, then I'll be there. And actually what the Akashic Records is just saying, like, the zenith, you are there already. You're there already, but it's kind of like you haven't quite recognized it. And actually there's so much more enjoyable, playful energy around for you to enjoy, and it's kind of like you're not quite doing it, or when you're doing it, you're just not quite enjoying it for some reason. But let's see what other we get. We're not going to read anything reversed. So then we get, oh, 9 of Feathers. Okay, so that is 9 of Swords. So this is where we're starting to tap into then why you can't enjoy it. The Hierophant. Oh, I'm just getting so much heavy duty and responsibility here. And Father of Flames. Ooh, I love that card. Okay, so really what the Akashic Records is saying, look, if you really, really want to enjoy your life, have more romance, have more pleasure, have more fun, have more sex, have more creative energy, whatever it might be relative to you, it's really important that you actually start prioritizing having fun and enjoying yourself. And I do kind of get a vision as well of like I don't know, there's a belief system somewhere that says, oh look, you can only enjoy yourself once you've created everything that you want physically, or once you've done all the self-growth that you possibly can. And that is such it's such a limiting belief. But it's a belief that's incredibly flagellating, or whatever that word is. When you're whacking yourself, you're whipping yourself. And really the Akashic Records are saying that now is the time to really kind of break out of that kind of mindset and that mentality. And the first way that you need to do that is that you need to recognize here the Emperor and the 9 of Earth, which in this one is called the Zenith. And actually it's I love how these cards tell you which ones they're to do with. This one's obviously Aries, but this one is to do with 9 of Pentacles is Venus and Mercury. Like, it's recognize that you're already there. You really are already there. You don't need to do any more work for you to be enjoying your life now. And it's almost like, I'm also getting this thing from the Akashic Records that some of you are going to have past lives, like way back in the past, that have got a tone of kind of slavery or entrapment in some way. And it's kind of like you've been told, oh, a bit like the plaque over Auschwitz, work will set you free. There's some kind of belief system that's lingering from some past lives that you've had, which is just basically saying that work will set you free. If I work harder on myself, if I work harder earning more money, if I work harder, I don't know, filling the blank, making this person happy, whatever it might be, then I can finally enjoy myself. And the Akashic Records just really want you to know that that is not the case, because your Venus is screaming out. It's like crying out to like have fun, to enjoy. And it's not so much to indulge, it's more like to play. It's more like to be playful, to be creative. It's very much that feel. And also because this Leo energy is coming quite a bit as well for this pile, and this 5th house energy, it's very much also to kind of like, I don't know, it's something about allow the attention to be drawn to you, allow attention to be put on you. Because again, I feel like a lot of you feel like, oh, the example would be, and I'm not saying this is you, I'm using it as an example, oh, when I lose weight, then I can wear that outfit. Oh, when I lose weight, then I am good enough to date. Oh, when I lose weight, it's got this kind of thing. Whereas actually the Akashic Records are saying, look, you're totally there. You're like gorgeous, you're amazing, you're super hot. Just enjoy. And the way that you'll do that as well is, I'm getting this very kind of creative Venusian, again, Venus vibe, but also this is where I'm getting a tiny flavour of Aquarius, but it's not a harsh flavour. It's more like the 11th house, which Aquarius rules. So it's kind of wishes and dreams coming fulfilled. It's kind of like what would I say? It's sort of knowing how to work your own energy and maximizing it the most that you can. So basically it's about getting the most leverage that you can off who you already are. That it's about leveraging now, and it's about leveraging through almost like some kind of unique specialness about you. And for example, I don't know why I'm coming back to image again, but it's kind of like this thing about just like knowing how to dress for you. Just because obviously no matter what size or shape or anything you are, there are some certain clothes that can really emphasize and make everybody's body look even better than it is. And there's also some clothes that can also emphasize and make everybody's body not look as good as it actually is. So it's that kind of energy. It's kind of just like knowing how to make the best of where you're at and the best of who you are, because you are already there, but it's just like you're not quite recognizing it. But let's just pull a few more cards. So let's see what's going on. Again, I don't know why I'm getting such an image thing with this. Okay, so now we're getting the Lovers. So again, for me, this is just re-echoing that kind of the Venus kind of connection. But again, obviously, whenever we get this card, we can always think about choice and choices. And it does feel like, it's like, I know that this is mainly a Gemini energy, the Lovers, but actually the Akashic Records is showing it me more this time as a Libra energy to do with choice. And it does feel like you guys have been stuck a little bit. Like I feel like part of you understand this concept about what I'm talking about, and you know that you're already there because you already have a lot of money, or you already have a lot of success in some way, or you already look the way that you want, have the weight that you want, like whatever it might be. But for some reason there's just something that's holding you back. But let's just have a little look. I feel like getting loads of cards out for you guys, and I don't really know why. Right, let's just have a look. So I'm going to turn them all over at the same time. So this is my friend's deck. Ooh, new path. I love that. Okay, I'm going to put that in the center there. So let's also see what we have. Okay, so this is like the Initiator. This is like the Magician energy, which kind of goes really well with the new path energy. And again, it's this understanding that you are already there, but you've just got to step into being like you are already there, enjoying life now. It's also like for people where, you know, like maybe you're kind of like, oh, I don't feel like I can have a holiday yet because I shouldn't spend the money on that. It's kind of like this Akashic Records is saying, do it, spend the money on it, because actually there's something that's great on the other side of that. Because obviously how you can leverage yourself is way more than just a physical thing. It's also an energetic thing, because if you start to change how you are feeling, it would change how your energy field is vibrating, and that would change the circumstances, situations, opportunities that come to you. So sometimes having, let's say for example, the holiday is really, really important, because it's going to help to change your energy in some kind of way, which also then can bring more of whatever it is that you're looking for. Oh, I love this card. So this is more like a nebula energy. again, it just feels like something is trying to break through. And again, it is making me feel like you guys already know. Oh, there's 2 here. You guys already know that you are there. On one hand, it's just on another hand you don't. So then we have here defeat, loss, disdain, humility. That's a bit of a heavy one. Oh, and then we have here, oh, this is a sad one. We have underdog, overlooked talent, unglorified action. Yeah, it just feels like, I feel like on some level you don't feel like you've been recognized enough for the hard work that you have done in whatever way that is. But that is not true. The Akashic Records want you to know that that is just something that you have in your head, and it's very much being linked back to kind of like a slave mentality from a past life type of thing, where the whole idea is to make sure that the slaves don't ever become too empowered. Otherwise they could revolt, they could rebel, they could just not do whatever they're being told to do. So just recognize that there's some very slight hint that's playing out like that for you right now in your life, and it's stopping you from truly stepping into this more Venus, Leo, 5th house creativity, 11th house dreams, wishes coming true, new friendships, new connections, new energy. And then we have here, oh nice, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So the Akashic Records are very much saying that let me just get what energy, so we know what energy they want you to step into. It's the whole, what we just said, Venus, Leo, 11th house, 5th house, all of that. Now let's just see where in your birth chart currently, or what is the energy that you just need to help you leverage it out. I'm hearing it's not Scorpio, thank God for that, because that's always heavy. 1 second. Let me just turn these over and we'll see what we get. Oh wow. So then we get worry lines, and then we also here get, oh wow, Uranus, and we have obviously talked a bit about Uranus through the 11th house. Now again, I'm getting this thing that it's not so much like the Uranus energy, because the Uranus energy is also incredibly intense, and sometimes it can be a little bit too much, and that actually is more, yeah, I don't know, the Venus energy is so much softer. So let me just find out a little bit more about this one. Let's see. What do I need to know with this one? Ah, the moon. Okay, so then we get the moon. So Uranus and the moon. Again, the moon's a bit softer because it's more feminine. It kind of relates into the Cancer energy. It relates into 4th house, the home, all of that kind of thing. I am also getting very quickly that for some of you, we're not just talking to do with your birth chart right now, but actually the energy that's going to help you break out is something that's also going off in your progressed chart, and it's very much to do with your progressed moon. And with the Wheel of Fortune also coming out, and the Initiator and the New Path, all of these kind of energies, it's actually saying that you're about to start a new cycle with your moon cycle. Now, I am actually hearing, this is the one time when I'm actually hearing, it would be useful if you guys know a bit about astrology to go and have a look at your progressed chart and actually see what phase your moon cycle is in your progressed chart, and then you can just Google on the internet and it will tell you a bit more, because it will tell you a bit more about the energy that you can move into, and it's going to tell you a bit more about how you can bring more of this Venetian beauty, pleasure, kind of playful, fun energy into your life. But also, just going back a little bit here, I'm actually hearing that the thing that really is, that will help you step into this new type of energy with the Uranus energy and also the moon energy is, it's very much about it's about daring to go on. It's just about daring to do something slightly different that you wouldn't do, so that it's like literally going a new path in a new direction. And it's kind of like, how would I say it? It's like, let me give you an example. Okay, let's stick with the holiday example. It's like, let's say you feel like, oh no, I shouldn't really go on holiday right now. Oh, it's not a good time. I need to save the money. Oh, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I shouldn't go. But it's kind of like something simple like that. It's like, no, just go. Work it out logically. Work out the maths. Don't have any fear, but recognize obviously you're going to spend some money to go on holiday, and you might not make as much money depending on what your job is while you're on holiday. But the point is, you actually logistically can afford to go on holiday. And if you can't afford a seriously bougie one, you can still afford like a really nice cheap getaway. There's something about doing something where usually you have a bit of fear, and it's very much, think back to the slavery thing. It's about, oh, I can't do that because then I won't have enough. I don't have enough. That's why I can't do that. Or example, it's the whole thing about like maybe your body, your weight. Let's use that example. It's like, oh, I feel like I should be a bit slimmer before I wear those trousers or that dress or whatever it might be. And it's kind of like, no, just do it. Just do it. Find the outfit that you feel the most comfortable in. Choose the thing where the colours suit you, where you feel really nice in it, where it shows off your shape, whatever your shape is, like it enhances the best parts of your shape, and just go with it. Because there's going to be something really, really liberating for you guys when you actually literally make the choice to just do something not even that big, but something that is a big deal to you in a new way. And there really isn't anything for you to worry about. And as well, like when we're looking back at these ones here about the whole underdog, talents overlooking, defeat, loss, etc. The Akashic Records are saying, yeah, but you can't expect, how can you expect life to give you an applause for something that you're not actually partaking in fully because of some underlying fear and limiting belief. But the Akashic Records also are just saying, look, but the thing is, don't feel bad about this. Don't feel like this is your fault. All it is it's just something that's been drummed into your soul a number of times from different past lives currently, and that's just something that's influencing you right now. I know sometimes obviously we talk about the past in terms of childhood and stuff like that, but actually the Akashic Records really hasn't mentioned that, although obviously there will be a flavour that always comes through with this. So something about that will play out too. But in terms of that, I'm just hearing it's more just like sometimes when primary caregivers are so busy because they're working through something that's consuming their soul, they may not be fully present to give you the right encouragement at just the moment that you needed around just the theme that you needed, and therefore you didn't quite have the confidence to step into whatever is this pleasure-seeking, beauty way for you. So that's just what I'm hearing to do with that. Now let's just see, is there anything else that needs to be said? What else needs to be said? Oh yeah, the Akashic Records just want you to know that also you might just have, if you do decide to just do something slightly different in a new way, something that you wouldn't usually allow yourself to do, but now you are actually going to allow yourself to do it, the Akashic Records are saying, look, you might do it and then you might have some fear, or it's almost like buyer's remorse or action remorse, action regret, something like that, because it might then, once you've done it, you might feel real high because you've done it, it feels great, but then you might slump back into some form of like worry or something like that as you start to overanalyze it a bit more. And the Akashic Records are just saying, look, if that happens, don't panic. And that's why we're telling you now, because probably realistically for about 60% of you that will happen. So just relax with it, know that it's part of the process, and just allow yourself to kind of observe those thoughts and feelings rather than responding to them as if they are truth and as if they are a fact. And this is why they're saying the King of Wands is such an important energy, because the King of Wands is really going to allow you to, blaze through any of these fears and let them go. Because they're really, I mean, to be honest, they're really not relevant to you at all anymore. But again, it is going to be a choice. It's always a choice, or it definitely is for this pile. It's totally a choice. So you have to decide what it is that you want and then go with that. So yeah, I think that is pretty much everything that I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed that reading, and I look forward to reading for you again. Oh, and also know that I do astrology readings. We can look at anything from birth charts, solar return charts, progress charts. We can also look at synergy. We can look at composite charts, when they're relationship charts, whatever you kind of need. So yeah, we'll take it from there. But anyway, it's great to read for you, and see you guys soon. Bye. Hi guys, so this is for everybody that chose message number 2 for what the Akashic Records most want you to know about your birth chart energy right now, or essentially the astrology for you to play with right now. So let's just see, we're going to go with these ones first. Oh no, let me channel like I did the other one first. Right, so let's just see, what are we getting here? What energy is going? Okay, the first thing I'm hearing is really earthy, but I'm also hearing, oh hey Rue, can you hear Rue's footsteps? Hey babe, you okay? You alright? You can come join the reading whenever you want. If you've got some guidance, come on over. Anyway, he's just gonna have a bit of water. Yeah, so the first thing I was actually hearing was, and actually it's interesting, I was gonna say fixed, it's fixed energy, not just earth energy. And funny enough, Rupert is a little Aquarius, so that means he's got fixed energy with his sun sign. So yeah, I'm hearing that it's actually really important for you to have some kind of fixed energy. And I'm definitely hearing like, it is no longer the time to play with mutable energy. So the mutable energies are things like Pisces, Sagittarius, Gemini, and Virgo. We're not looking at mutable energy at all at the moment. It needs to be fixed. So fixed is things like, it's Aquarius, it's Leo, it's, I think it's Cancer. Oh no, I can't remember. Well, because they're only popping into my head, the Leo and the Aquarius, but I am really getting a Taurus vibe as well. It's very much this energy that needs to come in, and that's the energy that you need to play with, but very much it needs to be fixed. And I'm actually also hearing that it is time for you to be playing with the energy of oppositions. So opposition is obviously where you've got the opposite sides of the birth chart, and they can actually usually be quite hey Roops, they can actually usually be, here he is, just wants to say hi. They can actually be really, what do I say, like powerful when you know how to blend two opposing yet still complementary energies together. And that's something that you need to be working with right now. And I'm also hearing that it's not necessarily specifically in any actual area of your life, and it's not even just like, oh, it's just on your own self-growth. It's just kind of like you as a human being and a soul together, you want to start looking at fixing things and locking long-term investments down in your life on a very physical level. But the same thing on a very soul level, it's asking you to almost choose a path and stick with it. It's asking you to choose a path and stick with it. And even if circumstances try and push you off that path, it's asking you to kind of hold. That's really what I'm hearing with that. So anyway, now let's just pull out some cards. So here we go. I'll turn them over as we go. So first of all, we have Son of Flames. So that is Page of Flames. Sorry, the lighting's going down a little bit now. Then we have, oh wow, Daughter of Flames. So that is Page and Knight. We've got the Page and the Knight of Flames to start with. And then one final one. Oh, no friggin' way. I have honestly shuffled these cards. That is the Queen of Flames. So we have got all fire cards out here, so all ones to begin with, and all court cards. So this is actually telling me as well that to do with this fixed energy and not being so mutable, not being so flexible, but being a lot more rooted and stable, it's absolutely asking you to do this within the different types of personality strands that you have. And very much it's coming out to me as the inner child, the inner parent, and what's the other one? The inner child and the inner parent and the soul aspect of you is what I'm hearing. So I suppose it's like balancing all of these different dynamics together, and that's something that's just kind of really important for you guys at the moment. And that will make sense then, actually, because when I was getting from the beginning that it wasn't so much about you you and any one particular area of your life that you need to work on fixing and stable, and it makes sense then that it's more of this kind of psychological aspect. And I'm also hearing that it's very much about getting everything to the same level and the same kind of energy. And that means like the inner child and the inner parent, they need to be in a healthy dynamic with each other. So they need to both be respectful, listening and communicative with each other. And then I'm also hearing the soul part as well is kind of there to kind of, it's not so much like balance things out, but just kind of oversee that that nothing is being missed, is what I'm hearing. Because it really is, I'm seeing like a big kind of vision of, I'm actually seeing the vision of kind of like, and this sounds crazy, town planning a car park. So it's kind of something that seems super mundane, a car park. Town planning, I don't know, but to me that sounds also quite sort of very, very, very practical and not glamorous in any way. And I suppose it's kind of like the Akashic Records are saying, look, just get some really, really fundamental structures in alignment between your inner child and your inner parent, and get them clear, grounded, concrete, and get them functional. And it's definitely, one thing I'm hearing is, even though there's a lot of fire, I'm hearing it's really, really important that the fire is just here to create a new way of these energies interreacting. The fire is not here to cause any friction, any blowouts, any burnouts. It's just purely here as well, I'm hearing, to like light the way, to like highlight things about both your inner child and your inner parent. So just really quickly, if you're not sure about the inner child and inner parent, it's this idea in psychology that we all have an inner child, and often we might respond in a certain way that might be a little bit more like a child in some way, or somebody that's less mature. And then the inner parent is more like obviously the adult inside us that actually in the ideal world comes in and is supportive, nurturing, but also maybe practical, realistic, and has a lot of guidance and uses wisdom. So it's about having these two energies in harmony with each other. And that is just, I'm hearing like super, super important, because this is why you need to be creating these kind of like new fixed car park story elements within your own psychology. And interestingly, I'm also being told that the reason why they showed me a car park is because actually once you've got this system stable, or at least you understand the communication that goes off, you understand how to calm down your inner child but also listen to your inner child's needs, and the inner child also knows how to listen to good advice and follow good advice through. The inner child also knows how to leverage off other people's experience and situations. The inner child knows how to calm down fears, and the inner parent knows how to spot booby traps before they even happen, as well as spot opportunities and then lead you all in the correct direction. I'm hearing that once all of that is in play and you've got that great communication link system, and you know that internally with you, that's like the car park. And then there's the ability to start and I'm seeing a vision of having some amazing cars being parked in that car park. Like we're seeing like an Aston Martin DB7, I'm seeing like some amazing Jaguar, I'm seeing like some Lamborghini, I'm seeing like some Bentley, I'm seeing like some Maserati, I'm seeing like some really cool Beetle car, I'm seeing like a cool kit car. Oh, I'm seeing like a really big Land Rover. I'm also seeing like like a mobile home. Oh, and I'm also seeing a souped up VW camper van. I'm just seeing that then there becomes all of this opportunity to start to create some incredible psychological ways of working with reality that's going to bring you a lot of, I'm hearing like wealth and health. I'm hearing like wealth and health are interrelated with this. For some reason. So yeah, wow, sorry, I got quite a lot with you guys without even pulling out cards. So let me just shut up for a moment and let me just pull out all the cards. Otherwise it's just going to get carried away. And I actually will just pull out the oracle as well. I think the reason why it all came out so quick is because of this kind of fire energy. It's lighting everything up, and the soul energy as well is there lighting everything up right now. And I feel like it's going to be, the stuff is very obvious. If you want to work with this, it's actually a very obvious thing for you to do because of how life's got things set up for you right now. And I feel like you have quite a good handle on some of these concepts I've just spoken about. So then it's about how to leverage, because I keep hearing like leverage, leverage, leverage. So let's see. And there's something really symmetrical as well about your guys' pile for some reason. But let's have a look. Okay. So I'm going to turn over my mate's card first. So this is this amazing oracle deck that you can get. It's so beautiful. Oh, wow. Release fear. That's interesting because obviously we did mention about fear. In terms of to do with the inner child having fears, and then the inner parent calming down those fears, being practical and logical, but also the inner parent spotting when fearful scenarios might arise and either avoiding them or being fully prepared and preparing the inner child for them, so that when the situation happens there is no fear there. So that's what I'm hearing there. So oh wow, the girdle of Venus. Okay, so I'm getting that as very, very much like, I do think the fears are definitely, like we even just said then, very much related to the inner child. So that's something that you need to be thinking about. And then we have the Sun card, and we also have Wormhole. This says simultaneous meetings, shortcut, secret link. So you know the shortcut, secret link, I think this is very much this idea of leveraging, because it's something that I really know that I do with my psychic stuff. And this is why I say this whole thing about leverage your life psychic style, because generally how I get anywhere in my physical reality now that I've calmed my inner child down now, and I use my inner parent a lot more as well as, to be fair, my own parents, they give me great guidance because they're Capricorn. So again, they're super stable and very good at working with physical reality in a productive way. But anyway, I definitely use backdoor ways to leverage my life for sure. So some of the stuff that I might have on a very physical level, it's not, I haven't created it through the usual route. I've created it through, like I say, it's more like a secret link, but that's more like using my psychology, my intuition, all of this kind of thing, and very much listening to what the universe is trying to tell me. Now obviously this is so not an exact science, and I'm absolutely no way amazing at it, but I'm just telling you that's the sort of energy that I'm kind of picking up with this. And it's interesting as well because I really have to make sure that my inner child and my inner parent are on board and collaborating well in order for me to create these short links, or to create things in reality in a different way to, I don't know, how people that maybe, I don't know what they might do, but just let's say work in a certain way. Maybe they work very hard in a kind of a job type of way, whereas I work very hard in a kind of with my own psychology and with collaborating with the universe. And that's how I create what some people might create with working hard with a job, if that kind of makes sense. So there's that kind of energy available, which is super cool and I love it. Let's just see what we've got here. I just want to say with this card also, because it's coming up really strongly, no gambling. No gambling. And my guys are particularly saying this, and Rupert's looking at me like, oh my God, because I have also gambled inappropriately over certain stuff, and that was definitely not what the universe was trying to tell me. But anyway, I just had to put that in there. Okay, and then we have Venus again. This is the energy of Venus in this deck, so that's really interesting that we get that again. And then we also have, Prometheus. This is the energy of Prometheus. Oh, wow. Okay, let me just turn this one over as well. And then we have the Hermit. Okay, so that for me is that soul energy again. You know, like you've got to let the soul guide as well. So with all of this idea about make sure your inner child and your inner parent are collaborating, working correctly, but they also need to be collaborating with the soul part of you, which can then also guide and hint and all of this kind of thing for stuff that might be going off, so that it can highlight potential shortcuts or opportunities, and also booby traps to be mindful of. All of this is what I'm seeing there, but let me just pull these ones over quick. So then we have, okay, Three of Swords. Then we have Sister Earth. This is like Queen of Pentacles. And then we have, oh wow, 5 of water. Okay, yeah, so I do also think this pile needs to be mindful of, if you feel like you have any kind of wounding or dissociation to do with kind of very earthly, practical, materialistic, pragmatic, money, work, I don't know what it might be. If there might be a little bit of wounding that's also that you maybe have going on to do with how you take responsibility for your own life is what I'm hearing. And I'm also hearing that even if you're somebody who's really, let's say, got a lot of responsibility in a very tangible way, like, I don't know, you have loads of kids, or you have loads of people working for you, or you take responsibility for a big family, or I don't know, you take responsibility for a huge number of staff or something like that, I am still hearing that on a deep level you do have a fear around responsibility. It's just that it plays out in a different area of your life. So wherever you think you have a lot of responsibility, that is not the area to look. There's another area where you really just avoid taking responsibility, and that is something that's coming up here, because really it's some kind of fear around a responsibility of things that you feel could be could weigh you down, could pull you down, could almost like increase your gravity to the earth, like, you know, that really heavy feeling, like sometimes you might get it when you go on a theme park ride and you suddenly go from like feeling weightless to then suddenly huge amounts of gravity on you. It's kind of that kind of fear is what I feel that you have. And I do feel for some of you the reason why you have this is because on some level it is quite overwhelming, the amount of responsibility that you do have in whatever area of your life it is that you have a lot of responsibility. And that's why then on this other area of life you're like, hell no, no frigging way, I'm done with responsibility. I've taken all the responsibility in this area of my life. I am done with taking it on this other area. But I'm actually hearing that you just need to be a little bit mindful of that, because again, that's almost coming from a bit of a wounding space basically. It's like it's a wounded space, and it's where you are, because of this, you are perpetuating a cycle that's actually not healthy for you and doesn't make you feel happy on a very kind of like tangible earth-like experience. So you just need to be mindful of that, and it's going to be different for all of you, so I can't say exactly what it is. That's where you're going to need to use your intuition and what you feel when you hear those words. But yeah, I think that is just one thing to be really, really important of. Let me just pull one more for this Venus card here, because we do have quite a lot of Venus. I want to know why we have so much Venus. One sec. Let's put it to the side here. So why do we have all this Venus energy? I'm hearing it comes through the Taurus energy. So we get the Tower, and we get, oh wow, Temperance. And I'm just being called to pull one more, and we get, oh freaking hell, I did shuffle these by the way, the Hierophant. Okay, so let's just see, what is that about? What is all this Venus energy about? Oh, okay, I'm hearing that it's wait, just give me 1 second. Okay, I'm hearing that there might be a little bit of, what would I say? To do with this responsibility aspect. It's, like, how would I put it? Like, wait, just give me 1 second. What is this? It's something about you just need to, you stay open to having a breakthrough about how you perceive harmony and balance in your life. Because I'm hearing that your Akashic records are saying, like, somewhere in the past, and they're saying for you that it is in childhood, but it's also in a past life, which is why it's come through in childhood, because it's just kind of the resonance from a past life, is there's kind of like a bit of wounding around having choices, having free will, but also knowing how to create harmonious choices in life. And it's kind of like, but also knowing how to work with life in a really balanced, relaxed type of way. I'm hearing that that's something that the Akashic Records want you to know about the energy in your birth chart on some level. So again, I think this comes back to what we were saying before about the energy of oppositions. It reminds me of that in some way, like two opposing things. Because actually in your birth chart, that's exactly how it would look. One will be on one side and the other one will be on the exact other side. So it's like two opposing things, and it's knowing how to blend them together. And I feel like you have a bit of a psychological, like blind spot, like mismatch in some way, to do with blending two different things together. It's almost like maybe either you can be sometimes really black and white, or you really like black and white and you don't like grey areas, or it can be all of these things, or it's kind of like you, I suppose it's the Akashic Records is suggesting that it's really healthy for you to develop the ability of yin and yang. And what it's saying by that is, you know, in the traditional yin-yang symbolism, where there's mainly white and then with a tiny black dot, and then on the other side there's mainly black with a tiny white dot. This is this whole thing about the opposition type energy. It's kind of recognizing how even something that is complete opposite has still got a little bit of the thing that it's opposite inside it. Does that make any sense? I hope I'm explaining that in a way that makes sense. Let me just see if I can get it on another way. It's kind of like I guess it's a similar sort of thing where maybe something that causes you something that you really don't like in somebody else, it's because there's a tiny little part of that within you somewhere, even though it might not be massive. Or it's kind of like recognizing that even though the energy and the Akashic Records wants you to be fixed and wants you to stay on a path and wants you to keep going, it's also saying to you that there will always be a little bit of give and take, but it's not about being full out flexible and mutable, where everything can change one minute and then change another, but it is about working with what you already have and bringing something that you already have into something new, even though they might seem opposing, or they might be things that you didn't want to do, or it might be things that you really don't like. So it's kind of like, I'm going to use this example of a job because this is going off with quite a few people I know right now. If you have to do a certain job that you don't want to do, it's recognizing that somewhere within that job there is a part of it that really resonates with what it is that you do really want to do, and it's about being able to focus on it in that type of way. And that focus and that fixation on that part that is good will actually help it expand out. There's something to do with that, or at least it's going to help you, make you feel a whole load better. So that's what we're getting at. I just want to pull one more of these just because I really, really like them and they're my friends. I didn't do this on the other pile, but for some reason I feel called to on this one. So let's see. We have stillness. Yeah, so I think the stillness goes quite well with what we were saying before about this concept, or literally just then about the yin and the yang. So there's always a little bit of the two extremes within each other. And it's about understanding that and knowing how to leverage that in your life currently. I think that's really, really important. And I'm also hearing for people that are making decisions or anything like that, just pausing a little bit before making the decision will be really, really helpful. Particularly if there is some kind of frustration around the decision choice. And if there is some frustration around the decision choice, I'm also hearing that it's going to be really, really powerful to get your... basically your inner child, I can't even pick that up, your inner child and your inner child and your inner parent on board. So basically listen to why you feel frustrated, which will be the inner child, and then listen to how you practically know that you can resolve that and what logically makes sense, but then also listen to the soul part as well. What does your soul say? How does this relate into things? But wherever you're going to do with whatever this is relating to for you, it's definitely about having something grounded, fixed, long-term commitment that can keep going and going and growing and growing and growing. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say, but I hope you enjoyed that reading and look forward to reading for you guys soon. Bye. Hi guys, so this is for everybody that chose message number 3 for what the Akashic Records want to tell you about your birth chart right now. So I'm going to do what I did with the others and just start with a little bit of channeling. So let's just see. What are we talking about here? First thing I'm hearing is literally trines and sextiles. I'm hearing everything to do with flow. So I'm hearing like Pisces, I'm hearing 12th house, I'm hearing Neptune, but I'm also hearing Jupiter and expansion. I'm just hearing I'm actually also seeing the 9th house. So the 9th house is very much ruled by Jupiter again, so that also plays into Sagittarius energy as well. So it's kind of like new horizons within your belief systems, but it's very much mixed into listening to your intuition and listening to your soul and listening to your subconscious, unconscious. So if you guys have dreams, it's about paying attention to that. It's about paying attention to anything where you're daydreaming in the middle of the day. What are you daydreaming about? It's also about oh, it's just gone off my tongue then. Understanding illusions, understanding smokes and mirrors. This is also really, really important. So let's just pull out some cards straight away and see what we get. So here we go. So I'm turning them over as we go. Oh wow, so the first thing we get is Ace of Feathers, which is actually Ace of Swords. Nice. So that is that new belief systems. You know how I mentioned that to begin with? That's like this 9th house thing, expansion in the 9th house. And then we have Queen of Cups. Oh, that's so lovely. So that has a much more Pisces type energy. And then, but this is this thing about being open, actually. This is this thing about being open, because if flow is going to be important right now, and flow very much comes from sextiles and trines within birth charts, it is about understanding where you naturally have flow in your life and like working with that. But then it's also understanding that you can find flow in any area of your life if you change the belief system a little bit, regards whatever it is. Oh wow. And then we have the Fool. I love the Fool. Okay, so the Fool is very, very, very open, and that links into that. So I think the right off the bat, the Akashic Records really want you to know to do with your birth chart, or the energy of the birth chart in some way that's going to be relevant to give you leverage right now in your life, is it's about being completely open to new belief systems, completely open to new ways of thinking, new ways of doing things. It's about having your mind completely expanded to almost like different cultures, different perspectives, and it's about holding an understanding, compassionate space for all differences is also what I'm hearing is really, really important. But let's just see. So what else I want to know? Okay, so we have, oh, I love this card. This is what is that? The Knight of Wands in this deck. And then we have, ooh, 9 of Fire. And then we also have, oh wow, 6 of Fire. Again, this is a bit like message number 2. We've got a lot of fire going off right at the very bottom, and it's kind of interesting. This kind of reminds me of a bonfire. So I don't know what we're going to have here, but this is going to tell us what you need to ground in. And if you ground in whatever cards we pull here, it's going to give you the creative energy and the enthusiasm to basically burst through and create a whole new way of looking at life, and that's actually going to be incredibly soft and nurturing and supportive to you. It's going to be super supportive to your journey. But let's just see what this is then. I'm actually going to pull more tarot for this because this is turning out a little bit different to the other ones. So we're just going to go with the flow, obviously. So what is this that you need to ground in then so you can have this going off? Oh, wow. 9 of Cups. Interesting as well, the light's just broken out. Oh, wow. I have shuffled these, by the way. 10 of Cups. And 2 of Wands. Okay. Okay, so it is really important. What the Akashic Records want you to know to do with like birth chart energy and astrology is I am getting very much a love vibe with this, by the way. So I'm getting a very much a 7th house, partnerships, collaboration type of energy. And it's like, blocking my throat. It's like, it's asking you to have a very new approach to how you relate to others. It's asking you to have a very different approach to how you relate to others. And it's basically saying that it's really important to not have any judgments or preconceived ideas about anyone or anything right now. And again, that brings in this whole like Pisces energy, which is very open, very accepting, Neptune and Jupiter energy, which is very expansive and explorative, and the trines and the sextiles, which is so much flow, like there's no restriction going off, there's no kind of like stoppages going on. And so again, it's about if you're going to be relating to whoever you're relating to, it is definitely about not putting any preconceived ideas on who they are or what they are in your life, or not put any preconceived ideas on what they're trying to tell you or show you, and just be completely and utterly open to it. Because if you can have a very open kind of heart right now, a very open and flowing kind of heart, again with this, and a very nurturing kind of energy, then I feel like you're going to have a massive breakthrough. And it's going to be a massive breakthrough to do with something that I feel like you've been working on for quite a long time, and you've been struggling with it a little bit. And I feel like there might have been a bit of frustrative energy going off to do with whatever this is. It's been frustrating in some way. But I feel like right now there's a whole load of insight and almost like lighting up the pathway for you to move past these frustrations and move forward. And like I say, I'm only using natural light right now, and it's blown up the most amount of light when I've done this reading, and that just kind of feels quite relevant as well. And also the 6 of Fire, which is, I always think it's like working through things and accomplishing things, but being victorious after a long hard battle. It's kind of pointing right up to this new belief system. And I'm hearing like timing is also really important right now. So even though it's then also considering like the Saturn kind of energy within a birth chart. So it's like the again, the rooting, the grounding. There needs to be some patience, because we've also got planning here with the 2 of Wands. And I know you're probably thinking, bloody hell, but I've been really patient already. Yeah, but you've not been patient with this energy that you currently have around you. And that's the big difference. Because actually the energy around, whether you feel it or not, is 9 of Cups, 10 of Cups. So it's very, very open, fluid. It is nurturing. But also the other thing is, you do need to, you know, when we said earlier on, we need to be careful about illusions and smokes and mirrors. That's one thing that you do need to be mindful of with that type of energy, the illusions and the smokes and mirrors. In fact, actually on that level, I'm just going to turn the lighting down just a little bit so you can see all the colours properly, because it's so bright. And I think that's the thing, actually. Again, if we're going to use everything that happens in this reading as like information, so just make sure you don't get blindsided with too much like overwhelmment of emotion one way or the other way, because it will cause you to be reactive. And if you become reactive, you're going to play the old pattern and cycle out again, so you won't get what it is that you want. it's really important that you wait for energy to cool down so you can plan. And even if this is only within your own internal dialogue, because I also think with this 9th house energy, which is very much about belief systems on one level and changing belief systems and almost learning new ways of doing things, I think this is something that you guys need to be mindful of. Learn to use your internal emotion very differently. So regardless of whether you are emotional on the outside, we're talking about the emotional process on the inside. So nobody might know you're feeling emotional, but you do. And if you're really honest with yourself, I think you've got to be mindful about what you are doing, because if you feel a lot of emotion internally, I think what half of you, I feel, do is you then shut it down and you dissociate from it. Well, that's a reaction to feeling emotionally overwhelmed internally. So that's something that you kind of need to do the opposite. You need to sit with it and listen with it. Listen to what it's saying so you can put a new plan in place, basically. But then also, if you're on the other 50%, let's say where you're always expressing your emotions a lot, and then you're taking very radical, quick actions or decisions in your mind, like, okay, fine, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. Actually, you have to then do the opposite. You have to just wait and plan externally before you make any move or you make some decision off a reaction, if that makes sense. So there's 2 different ways of playing that root ground energy, depending on what your energy or how you work with your emotions, whether you dissociate and block it away, ignore it, or whether you're so listening to it that you're instantly reacting off it and creating a whole story and a whole belief systems around all of it before you've even had time to let anything settle. So depending on which one you are, you need to do the opposite way, basically. If you don't do the opposite way, if you do the same way, you're just going to have a cycle of this frustration, which I really don't feel that you want. And not only are you going to have a cycle of frustration, but that just means you're going to be creating another battle internally and not the outcome that you want externally. So you need to be careful of that. But if you do it in the new way, then what you're going to do is you're going to stoke the fire of a new direction, which is going to push you into this area here that we were talking about from the beginning, which is kind of like a completely new belief system. And I do feel like for a lot of you, this is around relationships and relating, because the Queen of Cups here just feels very, very, she's way more interested in relating than anything else. And I do feel like that's the overall energy that's coming out on this pile. So let's just pull out a few more now. Let's see what else we get. Oops. So 1 second. Let's see what we get. Wow, that one flew out. Oh, let's put it there because it wants to go with the Mother of Cups. Let's get 2 of these. Ooh. Okay. And then what else? Let me get 2 of these. By the way, Rupert's just totally staring at the reading from the sofa. It looks so cute. Oh wow, that's the right way up already. Got one turned there. And then get 2 more of these. Ooh. Okay, right, let's see. First one that flew out. I feel like this is important. And we need to apply this to do with relationships. Oh wow. Okay, so it says here the big jump. Yeah, so this is the thing. I do really feel like there is this whole new way that you need to go about relating, and definitely to do with relationships and definitely to do with intimate relationships. That's really, really important. And this thing about no judgment, don't put any expectations or judgments on who people are in your life. Definitely not. Actually, just do it carte blanche over everything. Like, let's just say for 1 week, don't put any preconceived ideas on who anybody is in your life. And then after 1 week, see how you feel about all of these different people in your life, because it might completely reset how you feel about somebody, how you think about somebody. But you need to give that space, basically, in order for this kind of like big jump and this kind of real breakthrough to happen in this kind of way to do with relating and relationships. Now, let's see what we have here. So then we have the Tower. Wow. So we were just talking about a big breakthrough, and again with this big jump. And again, it does feel like a really big deal. So it's almost like the energy of it's like the energy of Uranus going through your 9th house, or it's the energy of Uranus going through the 11th house, or Uranus going through the 7th house, or Uranus going through the 4th house. It's all that kind of energy that's kind of going off, and it's very much to do with relating and relationship. But then it's also about how you actually see yourself, because if you start to see other people in a new light, as a knock-on effect, you're going to start to feel different about yourself and see yourself differently because of how these energies interplay within a birth chart. But let's just have a look here. So then we have the Chariot, which it says here Libra, and then we also have Pavo, which is vigilance, watchfulness, guidance. And so funny, because I was saying earlier that Rue's just looking over this reading on the sofa, and he is all about watching over and protecting, aren't you, Reeves? So with that, I do feel like if you, and again, Libra is a very relating energy, it's a very 7th house energy. I just feel like there's going to be a bit of fate that's going to play out, I feel, to do with you guys and one-on-one relationships. And I do feel on some level, whether you feel like you have stuff to work through with your mother or your father or primary caregiver that's male or female, or however you work at it, the main energy is to do with the mother energy, because it's to do with how you allow nurturing into your life, is what I do feel. How you allow like feminine energy into your life, essentially. And let's just say if some of you consider yourself to be a female or a feminine energy more or whatever, you might think, oh yeah, but I mean, I want to attract a masculine energy into my life, let's say, if that's the way that you are with that. And we're talking about all of these as just energy bases. Then the thing is, it's about like, yeah, but how much do you accept your own feminine energy? How open are you to really working with life with your feminine energy? So about being open, being receptive, being patient, being softer. It's that kind of energy. Or obviously if you are what you think is a more masculine energy watching this reading, then obviously it's about you allowing yourself to collaborate with feminine energy outside of you, which is the nurturing kind, which is the loving kind, which is the soft kind, you know, of feminine energy. This is really, really important. But I do feel like fate is making some moves in there. So it also reminds me of the energy of like having the North nodes, or having like really big transitional astrological events happening that are relating to your 7th house, 4th house, 8th house type of thing. So that could be things like a Saturn return, a Uranus opposition, some kind of North node like transit, conjuncting, or going through any of those houses. It's got that kind of energy to it that's kind of like going off. And then let's see what we have here. Oh, I'll talk about water energy, which we said in the very beginning, and flow. This is the ocean card. And then here we have, oh, this is guidance again. Okay, so the other thing that I'm really pulling out here is, let's say, I'm going to go with something abstract just so you get the point. Let's say you really want to earn some more money, and you're trying to earn some more money at work, or there's something going on at work that you want to change, or something going on in something you want to create in your life, and a kind of more life purpose, masculine, outward type of energy. You know what, more than you actually going after it in that very logical way, like, okay, so I want to earn more money, so I'm going to work more hours. What the Akashic Records is actually saying is, in a really paradoxical way, because of how things change your energy field and how you can be working with what's currently going off on in your own personal astrology in some way, the best thing for you to do actually is to focus on your one-on-one relationships, and specifically romantic connections. The more energy that you put into that, and particularly to do with attracting and working with this healthy feminine energy, the more it will give you positive, almost good luck in these other areas of your life, which are predominantly more masculine, let's say like money, job, career, etc. So if some of you are like, you're going to be flogging a dead horse if you're trying to get more success in your money or career or something like that, and you're going about it in a very logical way, like, okay, fine, I'm going to work more, I'm going to send out more CVs, etc., etc. No, I'm hearing for you to get more success that's going to make you really happy in your working life, or more money or whatever, you actually have to work on changing your belief systems and your energy around one-on-one intimate relationships, and in some really crazy way that we can't always understand, because it's very much like a tower moment. Like, you can't always understand everything that will cause you major changes. This is going to cause you a major positive change in then these other areas of your life. And there's, with getting these 2 guidance cards here, it's safe to go about it in this route. But you know what, it's a bit like in a way like the Fool energy and stuff. You've got to just trust this more abstract way of working with life. So essentially, if you've pulled this pile, whenever you're listening to this, you really need to focus on your one-on-one relationships and romantic relationships in particular, and your relationship with your mother or your primary caregiver that had the most feminine energy. This is really, really important. And collaborations, or sort of like connections in that way, are really, really going to support you to create really big shifts in other areas of your life. But you have to trust that it's very like non-binary, like it's not going to be logical or whatever. It's an abstract way that this energy is going to be working with you, and that's why, again, you have to really flow with it. And why we saw the trines and the sextiles, you've got to flow with stuff. And actually, this is this thing that I often use, which is let life lead a little, let life show you, let life tell you, kind of thing. And then it's about you listening, because with these guidance cards, again, I just feel like there is a lot of guidance that is available to you, both from people, friends, colleagues, whatever, partners, even if you've got them, whatever it might be, but also the universe. And it's really important that you listen to that. Really, really important. And that you understand that you just understand that it's safe to kind of go with the flow, which is essentially where you're not controlling stuff. They're the big words that I'm hearing. But let's just see what we have here. Then we have Lifeline, and we also have Uranus. This is the second time Uranus has come out. And again, it's funny because I did say that whole thing about you might have something like because I suppose the Fool is very much a Uranus energy. Like, it actually really is a Uranus energy, because it's kind of like, and again, the big jump, it's kind of like a leap of faith. I think you guys need to have a leap of faith around one-on-one relationships, and a softening and an opening to letting people in. I think this is really, really important. Really, really important. Let me just pull just a couple more just for that, just to make sure. So the Lifeline and Uranus, let's put these over here. What else do we need to know about that? Oh wow, Queen of Cups again. So that is 2 lots of Queen of Cups. Wow. No freaking way. And that's the Tower card again. So we have the Tower card twice. And we have the Queen of Cups twice. Okay, wow. And it's all to do with this Uranus and Lifeline. Look, if you guys can do this, if you guys can listen to this reading, do what's suggested, particularly to do with focusing more on relationship over work or anything else, even if where you want the changes is in your working life, there's something really important about you working on intimate relationships, and it really is intimate relationships as well. And because the Queen of Cups has zero fear of emotional intimacy, zero fear of emotional intimacy. In fact, she loves emotional intimacy. She thrives off emotional intimacy. And this is something that I really feel is where the Akashic Records want you to focus your energy. And it's actually on some level, and whatever is going off in your birth chart, either fixed as in just the birth chart itself, or to do with the transits that are currently interacting with your birth chart, or even your progress chart or solar return chart, there is really something important about bringing in a big part of relating and like emotional intimacy, communication, but emotional communication. And what I mean by that is this emotional communication. It's about changing how you first of all emotionally communicate internally. It's really about doing it the opposite way of whatever you do. If you dissociate, don't do that. If you overreact, don't do that. Do the opposite. You need to do the opposite of what you'd usually do. And you need to just really be open to either being this soft, nurturing, supportive energy that doesn't put judgments on who people might be in their life and lets life lead a bit, or you need to attract somebody like that into your life on a one-on-one level, or you need to recognize that if you've got a partner, your partner maybe holds this energy, or maybe you hold this energy. But either way, it's about really bringing that to life. And I feel that so strongly. Now, a bit like the other pile, I just want to pull one more of my mate's cards because I just really, really love them. Let's just see. Oh, I belong. I love that. Yeah, this is about recognizing that it's time to find those one-on-one, emotionally intimate connections with either a lover, with friends, with a business partner, with a work colleague, with a child, whatever it might be. But it's about saying like it really is safe to belong. And it really is safe to basically be relationship minded over independent minded. I'm hearing that really strongly because the Queen of Cups is categorically relationship minded. I mean, she puts relationships higher than anything else. She puts it before money, before finances, before success, before whatever. Like for her, being relationship minded is key to all of the success that she has in her life. So even if she has a lot of money and all the rest of it, she's got this in some way through leveraging her relationship mindedness. And I just get this really strong feeling that is so important and key. So also with this pile, the Akashic Records are saying, for some of you, there is going to be this bit of a wounding energy to do with the mother energy. Now that can be like the primary caregiver that was most feminine, or it can be the primary caregiver that most responded to the feminine energy ways. I do feel like there's something there for you guys to look at. It's nothing big, it's really nothing that heavy, but it is about almost seeing your connection with that feminine energy right from being a child in a slightly new way, and that maybe it was a lot more nurturing than you thought it was, or maybe you thought it was really nurturing, but maybe if you look a bit closer, maybe that feminine energy was struggling a lot at the time, so it maybe wasn't quite as nurturing as you like to tell yourself. Because if you're one of these dissociators, you might be somebody that also tells yourself stories that make you feel better about reality, but it's not actually the truth of reality. Now, there's no harm in doing that because that can be really powerful, but you at least need to consciously know that that's what you're doing. Whereas I think a lot of you guys might have done this unconsciously, and that might be causing a bit of confusion in your adult life. So yeah, I'm going to leave it at that for now, but I hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to reading for you guys soon. And yeah, just know that I do astrology readings, so I do birth charts, solar return charts, progress charts, composite charts, synergy charts for relationships, all of it. We can mix and match all of it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Bye. Hi guys, so this is for everybody that chose message number 4 for what the Akashic Records most want you to know about your birth chart right now. So really we're just going to work with, let me just go with it, let me flow with it. In fact, let me just channel it like the rest. So let's see, what is the energy that we're fit? Mutable cross is the first thing that I'm hearing. Oh wow, and I'm also hearing like all the the 4 points of the chart, which are the gravity points, I always call them. So we're talking about the ascendant, the descendant, the midheaven, and the bottom one, which I can never remember. But essentially, okay, this pile is people that are going through a really big shift. It's almost like a wheel of fortune moment. And I think you just need to be mindful that things will at times be quite overwhelming, just for a little while, but it's about relaxing with it when that happens, because there's some really, really great, amazing things coming to you on the other side. And it's also about working with intense energy in a new way. So, you know, like sometimes intense energy can be the most creative energy. This is kind of what the Akashic Records are saying is available to you right now. And it's very much going to change how you see yourself and also how the world sees you. So for some of you, this is like a change in status kind of thing, or it's kind of like finally accomplishing a massive breakthrough with your healing, with an old thing, a healing wound, or with your relationships, or with your money, or with your career, something like that, or with your family life. So really big shifts for this one. But it feels exciting. But let's just pull out some more. I'm also hearing this one does feel quite relationship as well. Ooh, not all of them did, but this one does. And I'm also seeing, what am I saying? I'm seeing Saturn and the 4th house. So I'm seeing kind of like commitments to do with your roots, but very much your roots in terms of it's like your roots are slightly shifting. It's like you're a tree and a crane's picking you up and putting you in a slightly new place. So even though things are going to change radically, just remember that it's still you in that place. It's just that things are shifting. But it is exciting. I do really feel that. But I think it could also be a little bit overwhelming at times. But I'm also hearing that this doesn't necessarily have to be like a really long-term thing. It's not like sometimes when outer planets, so like Pluto, Uranus, Neptune, make a big change in a birth chart, or maybe hit an angle of the chart, like what I just said, those 4 different points, things can really start to shift, but they happen very, very slowly. This feels like it will either happen quickly or you're at the end of one of those cycles, so it's just about to transition from one point to another. It's got that type of feel to do with it. But let's just see what cards we've got. In fact, I'm going to go with these first. So we have, oh wow, Ace of Swords. The power forward Ace of Swords is the first card out. Whoop. Then we have King of Swords. Wow, lots of swords energy. So lots of thinking going off. Oh, whoa. And then we have the 3 of Wind. So this is very much an air type of feel. So we're very much thinking about the air signs of like Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And this is this fast energy. And again, this feels like you're coming to the end of something, a cycle that's been going on for a long time, but it's getting close to the moment when it's all just going to shift and change. And a bit like, I'm seeing that as like broken glass. It's like shattering your reality into a whole new reality, but it's going to be something good. Oh wow, and then we have, yeah, Ace of Coins. Again, this is this new thing that I feel is going to happen in your life. But it's the beginning of something new happening in your life. It's weird. It's like coming to the end of an old cycle, but it's very close to the beginning of something new. So it's kind of like this overlap transition between the two. And then we have the Crone. Oh wow, and we have the Queen of Swords. So again, so much air energy. So much air energy. Obviously, one of the first things I get with this is try not to overthink stuff at the moment. Really, really try not to overthink stuff, because I think if you start overthinking, you're going to get stuck in your head, and it's going to cause a lot of problems with the 3 of Swords right at the very bottom here. And also, if you start overthinking, you're going to start to blow your expectations completely out of the water, and that's just going to end up leaving you feeling feeling disillusioned in some way. So really, really important not to go in that direction, because actually everything I feel is being laid up for you guys to start a really great new beginning in a certain area of your life. But I feel like also this has been a long time coming. But again, it feels like there's still, with these 2 cards at the top being feminine energy cards, with the Crone and the Queen of Swords, it's also really important to be very pragmatic about what's going off. So I feel as well like the energy of Mercury is, you need to combine the energy of Mercury and the energy of Uranus currently. And what I mean by that is Mercury is known as like the lower thinking pattern, and Uranus is known as like the higher thinking pattern. And it's about bringing these two kind of ways of thinking together, and they're both really powerful. So it's about almost like working through things logically, but then also keeping your mind open to sudden instant insights about stuff, and you just need to pay attention to those insights. But I'm hearing that you'll get those insights the more that you get that your own like thinking steady and stable. Then it creates like almost like a base and a foundation for like radical ideas from the universe or your spirit guides or whatever to come into you. And remember, quite often sudden ideas out of nowhere, if you're not aware of your spirit guides, this is your spirit guides. It's just that that's the way that they're kind of doing it for you. But I suppose this is the thing, it almost feels like I'm getting the vision of this. I'm getting an athlete that's been training for absolutely ages at a track event, and now it's building up to the last few days before like the Olympics. And obviously once they do the Olympics, it's like their first time doing the Olympics. Nothing will ever feel the same for them again, because that's such a huge thing. It kind of feels like you're in that process. So there's a little bit of agitation, a little bit of like nervousness. This is where the mind could be overthinking, that kind of thing. You have to really stay away from any negative thought patterns right now. I think that's really important. So just watch your mind, watch your thoughts. Don't allow things to race away with you. Now, this is my friend's card, so let's see what you get. Ah, the Seeker. I love that. Let me just pull out all the oracle before I say anything about those cards going down. So let's just see, what else do the Akashic Records just want to say in general. I'm also hearing this, and it was a little bit like pile through this tiny bit of a message for some of you, but stay away from reactivity. You've got to stay away from reactivity with your own mind. So like, don't assume you know what's going to happen. Basically right now it's almost like I'm hearing don't assume anything, because everything's to play for right now, because that's what happens at the Wheel of Fortune moments. Like as the Wheel of Fortune turns, while it's turning, imagine yourself in free fall. Nothing is fully decided, nothing is fully locked down. So the more open you can be, it's almost like the more the Wheel of Fortune can play with you, and when I don't mean play with you in a bad way, but I mean the more you can relax and expand and not attach to anything during this time period, the bigger your boundaries can stretch, and therefore the more momentum can build on this like metaphorical Wheel of Fortune, and the greater energy you will go into the new cycle one way or the other, if that kind of makes sense. It's kind of that sort of energy is what I'm feeling. Actually feeling two of these for you guys as well. Okay, right, let's see what we have. So we have, oh wow, this is infinite potential, it's zero potential. And this is what I mean, stay as open as possible right now, because nothing is set in stone right now, because you're just at a massive turning point. Then we have another air card. This is the air element. I think as well, the reason why there's so much air is because a lot of momentum is building in the background for you, whether you're aware of it or not. And air is very fast moving because there's not a lot of resistance to it. And in the same way, this is what I was trying to say about being as open as possible. It's like trying to have as least resistance as you can to anything, and that includes the resistance of attachment to a certain future outcome, if that kind of makes sense. No way. Then we have the Fool. Again, you know, this pile has got some similarities to pile 3 for sure. Okay, the Fool again is that unlimited potential, which kind of mirrors this one. This is it. It kind of feels like you're in a space of going into basically anything is possible. So you want to kind of stay with the openness of that. And I suppose the Seeker, the Fool for me is very much the Seeker as well. But there's something very open about being a seeker, because as well, this is kind of a Sagittarius 9th house Jupiter energy, where it's just kind of, it's very, very open. It's very kind of open to the future, to the unknown. It's being really open to the unknown. And I think that's really important for everybody that chose this pile. Oh wow, and then we have the Empress. So again, it's this feminine energy we spoke about at the top here. This is so very similar to pile 3, I have to say. I will differentiate though the difference for you guys. Let me just see. So then we get procrastination and delays. I think overthinking, this is this overthinking energy, you know, it's going to entrap you. It's going to block up the momentum that the Wheel of Fortune is building in your life. Oh, this is so nice. Facilitation of social gatherings, meeting of minds. I do feel like while you're in this state where things really might be in a changing state, I think it's really good to just be hanging out with people that are nurturing, that are very supportive of you, and that are also very non-judgmental. There's something about you also not having any judgments on what's going on with you or where your future's heading, and also something about the people around you also holding that space is going to be really, really helpful for you. Because again, the Fool energy really has, I mean, because there's a beautiful innocence and naivety to the Fool, there's also that lack of judgment as well. And it's so funny because essentially the very last card in the deck is called Judgment, or yeah, oh no, very close to the very last card, because then we get the World. But the Fool is obviously the complete new beginning of something. So I also feel like in the past you've already built up all the belief systems that you require to move into this new phase, and now it's kind of just like almost just letting it happen while not getting too involved in any way. And Uranus again, I cannot believe this. I shuffled all these cards and that's pretty much come out in almost every reading. I suppose as well, Uranus will be going through Taurus. I mean, if you're going to watch this video and I'm filming it in 2022, it's going to be going through Taurus for a number of years still to come. So the likelihood of us, even if you watch this video in a few years' time, Uranus is still going to be in Taurus. And that is really this real shifting of our physical reality in some way, like how we very much interact with our earth experience, and also what we build and grow over a long period of time, the sustainability of stuff, the investment of stuff, the long-term resources of stuff. So again, I feel like whatever is this new shifting that you're going into, it's going to be, it feels like it's going to be a new way of you doing sustainability, building your resources, building your investments, that kind of energy. Oh wow, and then we have the Mercury line, and obviously we spoke about Mercury a little bit earlier, and I do think that that is really important, because as Mercury is known as the lower mind in certain astrology, you do need to be mindful of your, like I say, don't let your mind get involved. If you feel your mind getting involved, you need to just start chilling out with some people that can almost like distract you and take you away from that place. I think that's really, really important. And also I feel like just make sure that you stay calm. I think just stay calm and be okay with not knowing. I think that's also a really, really important point at this stage, because with the Fool, the Zero card and the Seeker card, I just really think you just really need to be okay with the unknown and not knowing, and don't fear it. Just go with it. Just really, really go with it. And actually, if you get used to it, because almost there's nothing for you to do right now. There's nothing you overly have to do other than just allow things to happen, and then you work with what's happening. You don't need to plan. You don't need to strategize. In fact, if you plan and you strategize right now, that is going to again block up the Wheel of Fortune, and it's going to be you trying to impose your will on almost like reality, and that's going to cause some fracture points either in the immediate future or in the long-term future, which is going to be so bad for any long-term investments that you might be making and any sustainability. And I do feel like that is super, super important, and weirdly enough, I'm hearing that is one of the most important things that I've said for you guys regarding this reading. So you know what, I won't say much more, because that feels like that is the bit that we really need to hear. But I'm just going to pull one more card from my mate's deck, because oh, I love it. Popped out. Let's just see. Oh wow, metamorphosis. Exactly. Remember, you're just in this real changing point. And you know, like I said, when I heard the Grand Cross and I heard all of like the descendant, the ascendant, the midheaven, and the bottom part of the chart, the nadir or whatever, all of this is changing. And it's almost like completely changing the foundations. And so just relax, allow it to happen, don't resist it. You've done all the hard work, which means that you're set up and you're laid up in the right way. I'm not getting or hearing anything that is saying that you need to change your belief, you need to do this, you need to do that. No, it's all in the process of happening. Just don't get involved. Just literally let it happen. Let it happen, because it's happening whether you like it or not. And again, it's kind of like, funny enough, I know usually with metamorphosis you see the caterpillar going into the butterfly, but I'm being drawn to the dragonflies actually, and I know dragonflies only live for one day, and it feels like all of a sudden you will just wake up and that's it. Something is very, very different for you, or you feel or think very, very differently about something, or even your energy is suddenly very, very different, and then that is the beginning of the completely whole new foundational stuff being set up in your life. But the main point is just don't interfere with this process, because it's happening. Just trust it, just go with it. Because again, the Fool, very, very open. The Empress, very, very soft. Being open and soft right now is going to be perfect. And both these energies are really intuitive, because when you're very open and you're very soft, this is when you can be aware of real subtleties, and this is how you can allow yourself to flow in some way while these big changes occur. So I hope you found that useful. I love reading for you guys. If you guys would like an astrology reading, I do birth charts, I do solar return charts, progress charts. I also do synergy and composite charts for relationships. So if you would like that, just message me. But other than that, I look forward to reading for you again sometime. And always remember, leverage your life psychic style, because trust me, that is almost what you need to do right now. You're just going to go with the real subtleties of life, and you're going to flow with life, which is a very kind of psychic way of living. But anyway, I look forward to speaking to you soon. And Roop says bye, although he's now sleeping. But take care. Bye.